in time for this particular meeting, but we do have that letter.
Yeah, I think it's the same letter that we have received, the demonstration about concerns. Children.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right. At this time, is there any committee reports? Are there any committee reports from council? Any committee reports? If there be no committee reports, we'll go to our communications. Our reports of the mayor and our directors.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have a report this evening. First of all, let me say happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I didn't get a chance to get that in last time. But let me begin by extending a heartfelt thank you to the residents of Garfield Heights for the passage of issue 14. Your support represents a shared commitment to eliminating barriers and moving the city forward. Together, we've taken a meaningful step towards positive transformation and long-term growth. I'm excited to share that I recently received a message from a developer expressing interest in building along the Turning Road corridor. This renewed interest in our city is a direct result of our collective progress and demonstrates the new momentum we're building. This developer is looking at 2 parcels of land that are owned by the city and 3 parcels of land that are currently owned by a private person. And she wants to put in an offer to buy those 3 lots and put a nice new modern style building up with mixed use development. And last week I had the honor of traveling to Montreal and Quebec City as part of a delegation of mayors from Northeast Ohio. The trip focused on collaborative economic development initiatives, especially relevant to our region because both Canadian cities are port cities, much like Cleveland. It was insightful to see how economic growth is managed internationally, and many of the practices and strategies that they are implementing are already being done here in Garfield Heights. One of the key things that they talked about and they put a strong emphasis on was mixed use development projects that blend commercial, recreational, and living space, right? These cities have created dedicated economic development funds to attract and support business growth. I almost fell over. Now, I know Quebec City is a much bigger city than Garfield Heights, but they only put about $500 million into an economic development fund to attract business. And I thought, we don't even handle $500 million in 5 years comes to the city here, but we should be able to take a little bit of money when revenues increase and put it into an economic development fund for the future. It's investing in the future of our city. On a lighter note, I'd like to thank anyone or everyone that came out for Bike with the Mayor. We didn't have too many people on Saturday, but we enjoyed a relaxed about 7 miles per hour, 6 to 7 miles per hour. We went about 7 miles along the towpath. It's great to see some of the kids there. We are going to continue to do this once a month. I'm taking the initiative to really showcase some of our biking routes with the hopes that when Garfield Boulevard opens up, we will be able to ride that new trail as well. I've already been in talks with a local business about possibly doing some sort of a, rendezvous point for bikes to go back and forth. And maybe we could help transport some of them back up to the pond when they don't want to go up these hills, some of the hills that are there. But our next community ride will take place on June 7th, and we're going to start at Bocce Park and literally cross the street and just stay on the towpath. So this is a fun, friendly ride for children. If you're going to train for the Tour de France, we really don't want you there. We just want some people that really want to bring the kids out, engage their families, engage with the community, get to know one another. Let me get into some of the departmental updates. In Parks and Rec, T-ball registration is ongoing at the Recreation Center Monday through Friday during normal business hours. To accommodate more families, an extended registration hours will be available Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., as well as Monday, May 19th and Tuesday, May 20th when the center will remain open until 7:30. Grass cutting operations are currently in progress with 2 crews actively working. A 3rd crew has returned, helping us resume our full staffing levels. We had a tough time trying to find people to work this year. Despite recent rain delays, we are moving ward by ward, and currently they are in Ward 2. The first pass of the season always takes the longest, and we appreciate your continued patience as we work to get back to our normal schedule. We are also actively seeking lifeguards. We are up to 4 lifeguards. We need more lifeguards. We are paying them more this year. We're offering them a bonus. It's a great job for kids going from high school to college, because hopefully at the end of the season, they can get a nice bonus and be able to pay for some of their college tuition or some of the books or whatever they need these days for that. If you are interested, just apply online or stop by the rec center to pick up an application. In our service department, all available crews are out patching the roads. Please give them ample space to work safely. The household roundup is currently underway. Residents may drop off items at the service garage from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. The event concludes with a shred day on Saturday, May 17th from 9 to 12 at the Civic Center. Residents may bring up 4 bags or boxes for secure document destruction. Residential use only, no businesses. With lawn mowing season underway, we want to remind everybody to keep the grass clippings off the city streets as they pose hazards to motorcyclists and can clog sewers. Fire department, as of this year, the department has responded to 2,434 total calls, including 1,973 emergency medical calls, 80 false alarms, 43 fire-related incidents, including 23 structural fires, 8 cooking-related fires, and 3 rubbish fires. Our smoke detector program, 324 detectors have been installed in 71 homes. I was able to help with about 6 of those homes a few weeks back, and that was great. A new ambulance was recently delivered and is currently being equipped with radios, medical gear, and department markings. It is expected to be in service by the end of the month and assigned to station number 2. In our building department, the department has officially launched its new Citizen Serve online portal, which allows residents and contractors to apply for business licenses, schedule point of sale inspections, register as a contractor, pull permits, and in the coming months, the portal will also support anonymous complaints and property maintenance tracking. With warmer weather arriving, you may see city inspectors in the field. For your safety, always ask to see their official City of Garfield Heights ID. Lastly, please help keep our community clean by ensuring your yards are clear of debris and winter waste, and by properly managing your garbage containers, setting them out and bringing them back in at the appropriate times. I know that's always been an issue, these trash receptacles, speeding, things of that nature, running stop signs. We hear it all the time. Again, if the municipal court moves to Newburgh Heights, we will be able to have a mayor's court where we can hold people accountable in a mayor's court. Okay. Right now, a lot of these cases go to municipal court and they get dismissed. And I just want to remind everybody that police officers are police officers. They can write citations, they can make arrests, but they're not a prosecutor, they're not a judge, they're not the executioner, they only do their job. So I hear a lot of things sometimes the police don't do enough. Well, they do whatever they can in the letter of the law. Let me get into tonight's legislation. Ordinance number 42, 2025, and ordinance number 43, 2025 is to participate with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District to secure funding for Maple Row and East 126 Sewer Separation Project, and also for the I-480 sanitary sewer crossing. Ordinance number 44 and ordinance number 45 have to do with union contracts. If you have any questions, we have our law department and our chief of staff here who've been diligently working hard to make the unions and our employees happy. Resolution number 21, 2025 is to apply and accept the training grant for the Division of Emergency Medical Services. And then resolution number 22, 2025 is adopting a solid waste management plan. The county solid waste management office is right here in Garfield Heights on East 131st Street. I also want to remind anybody, if you have something that you have to discard, like a computer or something that you think could be toxic, you can always take it up there and drop it off. They will accept it right there at their office. And it's pretty good to see just things that you don't even realize, like fluorescent light bulbs, for instance. You're really not supposed to put those in the garbage can, but you can take them up there. They literally will grind them down and they keep everything contained in there so none of the chemicals can get out of the light bulbs. With that, Mr. President, it's good to be back in the United States, and you have my report.
First of all, I'd like to welcome you back, Mayor. At this time, council recognizes our law director, Mr. Noko Cisse.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not have a report.
All right, thank you, sir. At this time, council would like to recognize the chief of staff, Mr. Jeff Jerome.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
At this time, council would like to recognize, chair recognizes Mr. Tony Farino from our library, of course.
Hi, everybody. How are you? I just have a few updates. We're coming on the close of the school year and coming up to summer for the library. As always, we've got the summer reading program. So we're going to start that first week of June. So kids can sign up. Big difference this year is they don't have to read for minutes. It's just basically like we want them to read, and it's up to the parents for how long. So if they read a certain number of times, they reach a midpoint, they get a prize. They read that same amount and they complete the board, and they get another prize, and it goes round and round and round, and they keep getting prizes. Big difference this year, there's no prizes for adults. I think all the adults can read for pleasure, and we don't need to give free little tokens. So we're just keeping it for the kids this year. In conjunction with that, we've got summer fun for everyone. So you may remember in the past when we had big summer camps, usually the kids in Garfield and Warrensville didn't get to sign up for the camps because someone in Solon had beat them to it by, a few hours or so. We do summer fun for everyone. It's drop-in only. We run it from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Kids come in and do craft. We're going to pull in people from the sewer district to do some programs. We're going to do some metro parks, as well as some cool special guests for the kids. So they're not just sitting in there playing with Legos every single day. And then right after the summer fun for everyone, we'll have a summer lunch. So during the school year, we do it at 3 p.m. During the summer, we're going to start it at noon. So it's an actual lunch. And then I had something else. On May 21st, we're going to have a toy drive. So it's sort of similar to our mobile pantry where we have cars drive through, except you're going to park, pick up a toy, learn about library services. Some local nonprofits will be there at tables. They can get a library card if they need to, but Toys for Tots donated a ton of toys. So if you know anybody with kids, have them come out May 21st. We're doing that from noon till 4. And then I was speaking with our adult supervisor this evening, and he's looking to provide outreach or in-branch services for any special needs like adult groups. We were trying to work with Our Lady of the Wayside, and that went for a few months, kind of fell through. But if any of you have any ideas with any maybe senior groups, St. Timothy Manor, St. Timothy Park. I know I've worked with them in the past, but if you can think of any other groups in Garfield, especially special needs that want to come in and spend some mornings at the library to do some cool stuff with our adult librarians, give me a call, shoot me an email, talk to me. That's all I got, unless you guys have questions for me.
There is a question. Chair recognizes Councilman Kelly.
question. I know earlier you said that, Family Childs and Job Services, has an agent there to help with, what was it, the SNAP application?
Yeah, SNAP and Medicare.
Okay, SNAP Medicare. Now, is that still ongoing?
Yeah, we have meetings like quarterly to discuss it, but yeah, we're still going with that every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
Yeah, and we tell people get there when the library opens at 9 a.m. They do have a finite number of people they can help each day.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. At this time, council would like to recognize if we have any communications on the agenda. We have any communications on tonight's agenda? Thank you, sir. Okay, if there is no comments on tonight's agenda, we'll move right along to our ordinances and our resolutions.
Ordinance number 42, 2025, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Burke, co-sponsored by Council President Avery Johnson, Council Pro Tem Stacy Collier. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor or his designee to do all things necessary to participate in the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District Program to secure funding for the Maple Road and East 126 Sewer Separation Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Council Pro Tem Collier.
I'd like to make a motion to consider by title ordinance 42, 2025.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Collier. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilman Smith. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I'd like to make a motion for the suspension of the 3 reading rule.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Collier for suspension of 3 reading rules. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilman Smith. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I'd like to make a motion for the waiver of Rule 24.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Collier for the waiver of Rule 24. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilman Smith. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no. I'll call for the roll call on the adoption, beginning with Councilwoman Collier.
Ms. Collier.
Before I vote, let me say this to all the residents of Garfield Heights, particularly the ones over by Maple Road, 126 MLK. This has been 4 years in the making, and we're starting next month. After 4 years, we're finally getting ready to start doing this road work, this sewer work. So with that, I vote yes.
Ms. Mack.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes,
Ms. Punson.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Ms. Monroe.
Yes.
that passes 7-0.
Ordinance 43, 2025, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Burke, co-sponsored by Council President Avery Johnson, Council Pro Tem Stacy Collier. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor or his designee to do all things necessary to participate in the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District Program to secure funding for the I-480 Sanitary Sewer Crossing Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I would like to make a motion to consider by title ordinance 43, 2025.
Councilwoman Collier is placed on the floor in motion to consider by title. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Townsend. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I would like to make a motion for the suspension of the 3 reading rule.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Collier for suspension of 3 reading rules. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Townsend. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I'd like to make a motion for the waiver of Rule 24.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Collier for a waiver of Rule 24. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Townsend. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no. I'll call for the roll call on the adoption, beginning with Councilwoman Collier.
Ms. Collier.
Yes.
Ms. Mack.
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Maroon?
Yes.
It passes 7-0.
Ordinance 44, 2025, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Burke, co-sponsored by Council President Johnson, Council Pro Tem Collier. An ordinance approving a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Garfield Heights and the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council Incorporation for jailers, jail commander, and records clerk, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kelly.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 44-2025, considered by title.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilman Kelly to consider by title. Motion for title. Can I please get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Rose. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kelly.
I make a motion, suspension of 3 reading rule.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilman Kelly for suspension of 3 reading rules. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Rose. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kelly.
make a motion, waiver of Rule 24.
There's been a motion placed on the floor for the waiver of Rule 24 by Councilman Kelly. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Rose. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no. I'll call for the roll call on the adoption, beginning with Councilman Kelly.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Maroon?
Yes.
Ms. Collier?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes,
Ms. Combs?
Yes.
that passes 7-0.
Ordinance 45, 2025, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Burke, co-sponsored by Council President Johnson, Council Pro Tem Collier. An ordinance approving a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Garfield Heights and the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council Incorporation for safety dispatchers and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kelly.
make a motion to consider by title ordinance 45-2025.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilman Kelly to consider by title. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Rose. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kelly.
make a motion suspension of the 3 reading rule.
There's been a motion placed on the floor for the suspension of the 3 reading rules by Councilman Kelly. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Rose. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kelly.
make a motion waiver of Rule 24.
There's been a motion placed on the floor for a waiver of Rule 24 by Councilman Kelly. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Rose. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no. I'll call for the roll call on the adoption, beginning with Councilman Kelly.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Maroon?
Yes.
Ms. Collier?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes,
Ms. Combs?
Yes.
that passes 7-0.
Resolution 21, 2025, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Burke, co-sponsored by Council President Johnson, Council Pro Tem Collier. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor or his designee to apply for and accept a training and equipment grant provided by the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Division of Emergency Medical Services, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Dr. Mack.
I would like to make a motion to consider by title Resolution 21, 2025.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Mack. Can I get it by title? Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Tunzing. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Dr. Mack.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the reading rule.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Mack for suspension of 3 reading rules. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Tunzing. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. I'll call for the roll call on the adoption, beginning with Councilwoman Dr. Mack.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Rhodes?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
That passes 7-0.
Resolution 22, 2025, sponsored by Mayor Matthew Burke, co-sponsored by Council President Johnson, Council Pro Tem Collier. A resolution adopting the solid waste management plan for the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste Management District.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I'd like to make a motion to consider by title Resolution 22, 2025.
There's been a motion to consider by title by Councilwoman Collier. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Mack. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Collier.
I'd like to make a motion for the suspension of the 3 reading rule.
There's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilwoman Collier for suspension of the 3 reading rules. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Mack. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. I'll call for the roll call on the adoption, beginning with Councilwoman Collier.
Ms. Collier?
Yes.
Ms. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Rhodes?
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. All right, this time, that concludes our ordinances and resolutions for this evening. We're gonna move right along to our comments by citizens, and I'll have the clerk read the rules.
Comments by citizens. Comments shall be restricted to any problem a resident has which had previously been submitted to his or her councilperson or to the City Hall Department directly involved. If submission of a problem to a City Hall Department or councilperson is made, and there is a lack of service rendered in this regard, the problem may then be presented during comments by citizens at a future meeting. It is the intention of this rule that no request of a first nature is presented on the floor at this time. Comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. No citizens shall be heard more than once.
If Mr. Weldon Hastings is here, can you please step to the microphone, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Weldon Hastings. I am owner of Weldon PC on Turney Road. My phone number is 216-475-6000. First, Mr. President, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Council, I appreciate it.
Have a seat.
Mayor, thank you. Residents, good evening. Business owners, good evening. Thank you for coming in support. There is a fire that burns within all of us. And as elected officials, that's why you run for the positions you hold. That's why the mayor runs for re-election. That's why the citizens decided to give up time with their family tonight to be here. That fire is literally on every street, every afternoon. Groups numbering from 20 to 50 linger, vandalize, and fight and intimidate businesses and residents in the city. Last week, 2 cars were damaged on Turney Road. One looks like a car was T-boned when one student threw another student headfirst into a car. The police are doing their job. Council's doing their job. Police disperse the issues in one corner and they go to another corner. Meetings aren't going to fix the problem. Talks aren't going to fix the problem. There needs to be immediate action. What we need is a staggered release parent pickup window, a temporary curfew dispersal, rapid response, additional avenues for students to get involved with. On Thursday at 7 p.m., Thursday, May 15th at 7 p.m., I'll host a Zoom call where we can put together some kind of plan of action. I have left on the back table 25 flyers. If anybody needs that flyer, they're welcome to call me at 216-475-6000. The flyer is as follows. If we get the kids off the street and we want them to get home between 2:45 and 3:15, the problem is solved. I would like to formally request council to propose a state of emergency to Mayor Burke. And I would like to offer that to you, Mr. President, this evening. This declaration of emergency would focus on a 30-day mutual aid surge from other communities, a temporary curfew zone, and a 14-0 incident exit trigger. In closing, I opened with that we all have an inner fire. And I'll close with Welsh poet Dylan Thomas when I tell you, do not go gently into that good night. And with that, citizens of Garfield, I urge you not to go gentle into that good night. Thank you.
First of all, let me say thank you, Mr. Weldon, for your proposal. We are going to go ahead and take everything you said into consideration. The council will discuss it. Furthermore, I will say to you that me and you had a discussion, and I gave you a plan of action that I would follow. I will continue to follow that plan of action to help address your proposal. And I will talk to all the parties that have a stake in this matter. I do believe that once we have discussed it, we will bring it back to your attention again, along again with all the parties as me and you have previously discussed. And I will take it into serious consideration. With that note in mind,
Mr. President, can I?
Council Chair recognizes the mayor member.
I agree with you, Weldon, that, meetings aren't going to solve the problem. And I know that I've worked collaboratively with the school system, with Dr. Reynolds, with the school board whenever I can. We wouldn't see the things that I've done in the city have we not tried to address things for the children to do. Things like the basketball courts over there at Devilac Park. You wouldn't see a brand new turf field behind the high school had I not tried to lobby for that with people that I know to help get that done through the NFL, through the Browns Foundation. You wouldn't have seen some of the other things, the park equipment. These are things that I'm trying to do to give the kids something to do. We have a police force that is 20 more officers. No, I take that back, 18 more officers than Maple Heights. So we are staffed adequately in the police department by what Chief K tells me. And I bet a lot of the residents don't realize this, but every time we hire a new police officer, every time we add a new police officer, I don't want to say hire because some people retire and then we bring a new police officer. But if we added a new police officer, it raises your taxes every single time we add another position, okay? I believe you sent an email out about possibly getting some more surveillance cameras. We have surveillance cameras up and down Turney Road. It's an initiative that you didn't see 4 years ago that you see today. There's cameras, there's people watching those cameras 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're dispatched. Now, I understand you want to hold the parents accountable. I understand people want to hold the parents accountable, correct? Our law director here will tell you, we prosecute parents whenever we can, but there's a legal process here. There's a legal process that we have to follow as well. We can't just pick people out for any instance and say we're going to prosecute. You have to have the facts. If you have a video that you claim that you have, would you please get that to me so I can get it to the prosecutors? So we can get that done? And I mean, other than the legal stuff, I'll defer to our law director, but there's a lot that I'm trying to do to try to address this situation. I have to have cooperation from the schools. I have on my plan of agenda to also expand our SRO program. But every time we do that, we raise your taxes. And, you know, some of the business owners, you guys are strapped as it is. You don't have, it's not practical to raise the taxes for that. So we have to find other ways of paying for it where it doesn't tax the residents. We're already paying high taxes, but we will get there. It takes time. 4 years, we've seen a lot of action take place, and there's a lot of things that we're addressing, but there's a legal process involved, and we have to make sure we follow that legal process. And I'll turn it over to Milko here.
Mr. President, may I?
Chair recognizes Law Director, Mr. Milko.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to touch on one thing that Mayor brought up, and this kind of comes up from time to time in terms of parent involvement. We do have an ordinance. We are one of the cities that does have an ordinance that can punish parents for failure to properly supervise a child. Now, as the mayor, and we do enforce that ordinance. We've gone after parents, we prosecute them. Judge DiGeronimo has actually put some parents in jail for 10 to 30 days, as well as a couple years of probation. So we do go after them, but again, it's a crime. Any crime has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. If your child is outside walking home from school, you just happen to be a parent, that's not enough to prosecute somebody. What we look for is facts where parent is actually actively involved, whether they drive a child up to the scene, whether they're encouraging the child to engage in some sort of illegal behavior, whether they're perhaps recording a child and trying to disseminate that on social media to perpetuate the violence. We have to have those things. It's not sufficient just to be a parent of a child, just like it's not sufficient for if your spouse went and committed a crime, just because it's your spouse, you can't be charged unless you actually actively aided and abetted that person in committing a crime. So it's not as easy as just to say we're going to prosecute parents. We have to have some parent involvement in the commission of a crime. Obviously, if the child is perhaps running away from home and they fail to supervise it that way, we can use those facts. But that's something just to so you're aware. But I did actually just have a conversation with our chief prosecutor, Edward Fidel. That's why I stepped out earlier, because I wanted to get additional facts figured this was going to come up. We do go after parents when appropriate, when we have sufficient facts to support a crime, and we have done that. And the judges have actually put parents in jail. So we're trying to improve things that way. We can only do what we can do legally. Again, to commit a crime, you have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you did something. Simply being a parent without any further involvement, it's not sufficient. I have to have some additional facts for my prosecutors to be able to go after those parents. And when we do that. So just wanted to kind of add that to the mayor's point, so everyone's kind of aware where we stand as the city as well as our law department. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Kelly.
Good evening, and Mr. Hastings, thank you for your comments. But I want to add too, and I'm not speaking as, well, obviously I'm the councilman sitting here at the table, but I'm speaking also as a parent, I'm speaking as a former youth pastor, speaking as a former youth coach. Before I even thought about council, I'm talking about my youngest child is a senior in college now. When he was going to school at William Foster, so I tell you how long ago that was. I was walking up to the school because I had a third shift job. I'm walking up to the school, walked him home, and I stood on the corner and watched the kids go back and forth, and I'm shooing them along. No one knew who I was. No one knew what my aspirations were, but I was involved. I live in Ward 6. I got businesses. I'm just 3 houses from the corner. I got businesses all along Ward 6. So I understand what you're saying, but I say that to say this is not a brand new problem. We've been dealing with this for years. In fact, when my oldest child graduated from high school, which probably would have been about 2017, it was a whole rash of kids who went to jail right after they graduated. Remember when the stores were being stuck up, gas stations and all that stuff was happening back then? Does anyone even remember that? Number one, it was a few years ago, so we forget the stuff that happens then. But since then, you know, this council here has, because sometimes you have to understand, and I'm not attacking anybody, I just want you to hear what I'm saying. Sometimes when we attack the mayor and say that he's not doing anything, this is not me trying to gas him up. But when you say that he's not doing anything, what you have to keep in mind is the stuff that he puts in our law director and our chief of staff, when they put those ordinances before us, the only stuff that he gets done is the stuff that council votes on. So when you say he's not doing anything, in essence, you're saying council is not doing anything. Well, I seem to remember that as much as has happened and we're still complaining about, we still have a reduction in crime of 33%, and no one seems to remember that. This council voted on a tactical enforcement unit where they work undercover and they're catching stuff all the time. Now, the thing that's not even mentioned here is that the school board meets on the same night that we meet. No one's going to the school board meeting and bringing these facts to them. And I used to be, let me also say that I was one of the school liaisons. I sat in meetings with them where they will confess that when that bell rings, they're responsible for when the kids leave until when they get home. But yet, everyone's here yelling at us about what we're not doing about what the kids are doing. So the only thing I'm saying is, I hear what you're saying. I hear the passion behind it, and I'm not complaining about it. But what I'm also saying is, take that same energy to the school board. And I'll leave it there.
If I may, Mr. President, I just want to say, and I thank you for your comments, Councilman Kelly, but I don't take it as you guys are coming here to attack me on anything. I just look at it like maybe you did take it to the school board and you come here because you know that we're going to try to solve it. We're going to try to do something about it here. And I just want people to realize we're going to do whatever we can legally do. You know, there's laws we have to follow too. And the schools are not really my lane, but I have to be on top of it, because if we have a bad school system, our property values are going to fail. I can't bring businesses into this city if we have a bad school system, you know, so I have to stay on top of it as well. And I appreciate you coming out. I really do. I don't take it as an attack. I understand it's a concern, and I'm equally as concerned. And I will have meetings with, you know, Dr. Reynolds. I'm deeply concerned because their renewal levy did not pass. And that's just going to make this situation worse. You're going to see more people out on the street. So we have to be prepared for that. And I just want you guys to know we're going to do everything we legally can do to solve this issue.
Thank you, Mayor Burke. Appreciate that. At this time, Chair recognizes Councilwoman Collier.
And thank you. Thank you. I just want to say, just as a matter of just some understanding, Ward 1, fortunately, we don't have a school in Ward 1. And as the safest ward in the city, I would like to say that we do have our issues with juveniles in crime. For example, I have a juvenile he's a one-man wrecking crew. He's went from essentially sexual assault, allegedly, to allegedly arson within the scope of a 1-year time. He did go to court. He got 6 months probation. He's stolen 2 cars. He's broken into several homes, occupied homes. Yeah. When I tell you that I had this one kid that was holding a whole community hostage, And that's the way I presented it to the prosecutors. That's what I presented to the juvenile detectives. I mean, to the point where they automatically knew. Garfield police knew exactly where to go. There was no, even the superintendent of schools has went and knocked on this family's door. To say that folks went down to juvenile court and testified, spoke out to say, hey, this is what's going on in our community. Ward 1 is a very close-knit community. We look out for each other all the time. But to say, for them to go out there and explain to the judge was very impressed at the fact that how all the neighbors knew each other and could tell you where this kid had been and what he had done, right? One kid, 6 months probation. So it is not, he cut off an ankle monitor and nothing was done. So I'm saying this to say to you, it's not just this panel that is here. It is not just the school board. It's not the police or the tactical unit. It's not the prosecutors. We have to also remind the judges, our juvenile court judges, that, hey, more needs to be done. You know, these kids understand a slap on the wrist. You look at on the news, you saw the Kia boys where they were on house arrest with ankle monitors and still going out stealing kids because they knew that very little would be done to them. So we have to, it's not only your voices, we hear you. We hear you. Believe you me, we're residents here also. We don't live somewhere else and we come in here to vote on this stuff. We hear you. We live it too. It's our homes. It's our families. It is us. This isn't a you versus us. This is a we thing. We are one. We are one community. Pope Leo the 14th said, bridge that gap. So we are here to say, we hear you. We understand it. We are also feeling your pain. We live it every day. So allow us the opportunity, but I also need your voices, not just to come here and stand before us, write letters to these judges, let your voices be heard. Let them understand that we are no longer in the city of Garfield Heights going to tolerate it. I will try to be at your Zoom, but also understand that I have community meetings and I'm getting ready to have a big one on what the city. I'm calling folks to say, what is it that this community needs for young people? That's going to be the call of my meeting. And on that, I'm going to close it. I apologize. Go ahead and take it, girl.
Thank you, Councilwoman Collier. The chair recognizes
I just
Councilwoman
wanted
Mack.
to say, with everything happening in our community, from, concerns about the youth, from the crime, I understand everybody's concern. I'm pretty sure everybody up here share the same concerns that you all have, but we must still have to come together and find real solutions at this point. And community safety is a shared responsibility between all of us. So, staying alert and reaching out to each other, talking to your neighbors and things like that, supporting one another. That's something that we must have to, we must do. We can't, this is not the time to separate, to say, we're here, you're there, we're trying to figure out when we're gonna, we have to just connect at this point. And when they mentioned the school board, I feel everyone needs to go to the school board meetings as well. It's just not council. Everybody has to connect and come together some sort of way. So it's time that we can try to find a way to build a safer and a stronger place for all of us, So that's all I had to say, and that's it.
All right. Is there any one else at this time that would like to make any comments from council at this time? At this time, Chair recognizes our law director, Mr. Noko Cech.
I just want to clarify a couple of things in terms of what Ms. Collier was saying, what the mayor was saying as well. I think just legally to explain this, just so everyone understands, because I think some people conflate the two. The school board and city council are two completely separate political subdivisions in the state of Ohio. And I think people sometimes think that just because Mayor Burke is mayor of the city, that he somehow has jurisdiction over the school. School board are 5 elected officials, just like we have 7 elected officials here. And I just want to mention that because most of you, I'm sure understand it, but there are some people that I've noticed when I talk to that they conflate the two. Just because that school board is located in our city. They're a completely separate political subdivision in the state of Ohio. They're their own public political entity that is capable of suing somebody and being sued, just like the city itself. So that's something I just want to explain to folks. They're ran by the superintendent, just like the city is ran by our mayor here. So that's one thing. The other thing I was going to mention, just to what Skylar was talking about in terms of juvenile court, because I used to be a prosecutor when I started out my legal career years ago in Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court's office. Just to remember, and what Ms. Collier is saying is spot on in terms of children. And it goes, there's a number of factors, I just want for your understanding, that go beyond of, what we are able to do here. But juvenile court itself is meant to rehabilitate kids. It's not meant to be not meant to serve as punishment, because the idea is to prevent these kids from being offenders when they turn adults. So that's one thing. So most penalties for juveniles are by nature much lower than what you would see for adults for that particular reason. The other problem that I've learned since, and this is now years later after I left the juvenile prosecutor's office, back in the day, the juvenile court had, as a juvenile offender, you call it delinquent. Not technically doesn't go on your record, but juveniles would either get probation, have to go some sort of an intermediate step, like Applewood. There used to be a thing back in the day where you're getting counseling and treatment, sort of like a step before the Department of Youth Services, ODYS. A lot of that funding, to my understanding, what's been explained to me, has sort of been cut out, where the middle step, well, for juveniles, almost no longer exists. In terms of, if you're a juvenile, you're now either getting probation or you go to the Department of Youth Services, but that's only reserved for the worst of the worst, if you will, the most violent offenders. So a lot of that funding that's meant to help these kids has been taken away. So I'm not trying to sit here and defend the juvenile court judges, but I think that's the dilemma that they sometimes have in juvenile court as well, in terms of what do I do with the child? Perhaps it's not serious enough, or perhaps the juvenile prisons are overcrowded, so I'm gonna give this kid a chance. Because there's no middle step anymore, if that makes any sense. And I know it's a horrible answer, but I kind of wanted you guys to understand, to explain what Ms. Collier was talking about, at least from my understanding of what I've seen, some of the changes in the last 10, 15 years or so. I wanted to pass that on to you, if it helps anybody just sort of understand what we're dealing with. So those are the 2 things I just kind of want to add to what the mayor and Ms. Collier was talking about, so everyone understands as well. Thank you again.
All right. Any other comments? All right, I would like to point out a couple of facts. I briefly just skimmed through your request. And a couple of things. You state in your factual basis, the 1 in 5 Foundation for Kids launched the safety patrols after reported violence. That was reported by Cleveland 19 News. Never happened. Me and the mayor attended a meeting in Ward 7. We questioned the individual that they had designated to take over that program. And we found that their program was seriously wanting, that they never acted on anything that they proposed, even when they were in Valdez, Texas, where they initiated this program. So we had very serious problems with them coming into the city, unwilling to really work with established organizations such as Neighborhood on Duty, where I'm a member of that group that has brought in our police department. Who is the founder, is sitting here left to me as Councilman Kelly. That meeting has seen over hundreds of residents in the city come out to talk about the very same issues, Mr. Weldon, that you have brought up. That same group, I represented them for 2 years now, as one of the only adults that has walked the streets by the schools, by your business, and several other businesses, directing kids away from those businesses. I did that along with other people on Neighborhood on Duty, and I had not seen none of these people attend any meetings or bring up any concerns until an incident like this takes place. So now here we are. I want to work with you to make sure that that doesn't happen again in the future. Student Protesters Council, when threats of violence, come to find out the same group that did not come out to support anybody falsely put that out to the news media, and they had to take that and recant that back. We talk about the mass exodus of teachers. One of the things that was highly publicized throughout the city. What they failed to report is when they got lost 70 teachers, the next following year they hired 69. They didn't fire them, or they didn't quit either. They came into a situation clearly aware that 70 teachers had left. But the school turned around, school board did, and rehired 69 people to come in that wanted to teach our kids, that wanted to deal with the difficulties of the kids that were there in the school system. So we failed to mention that, but we highlighted. We talk about what we're going to do if we implement these types of programs. You're looking at a gentleman that's sitting here that worked in the prison system for juveniles for 25 years. When I started in the juvenile prison system, we had 13 institutions that dealt with sex offenders, from sex offenders all the way down to thieves, murderers, then you name it. We had institutions designed to deal with those kind of kids. They closed down 10 of them and left the state with only 3. The courts began to handcuff the prison systems as to what we could actually do with the kids, to where you can't even touch them anymore. It's against the law now in the state of Ohio. So I'm saying we have gone as far as diversion programs. And believe it or not, the municipal court here has a diversion program to address kids that are unruly, that breaks our laws. There is one in place. So what I'm saying to you when I talked to you originally, Mr. Weldon Hastings, that I would talk with all the principals and bring all the principals together to address doing something what you're saying here. We're not going to run away from this as a council. We are going to do our very best to address it. And with that note in mind, I could be here all night preaching to you about the things that we as a council and as other programs in the city have tried to do to reach out to these kids to stop them from disrupting our business district. So with that note in mind, we're going to go to miscellaneous business, and we're going to try to be brief with our miscellaneous business. We'll start with Ward 1, Councilwoman Carter.
Thank you, sir. I will be brief. As I may mention, we're currently, I just had a meeting Saturday, where we were discussing, coming up with 3 different meetings, and we're in the process of preparing a survey, to ask what it is. One of the things that we are lacking, or we're getting better, but one of the things that we have been missing for a few years in the city, and we've been actively working to curb that, is things for young people to do outside of school. Recreation programs and things like that. I've had the pleasure in Ward 1 of Holy Spirit Church is housing several programs that is being used by everybody in the city. Art reaching kids, where they're learning bucket drumming, drumline drumming, there's dance classes, perfume making, hair braiding, sewing. We're looking to add a few more programs to that. Just in partnership with the library, we just made my brain click. We do have some space in Ward 1. Holy Spirit Church is willing to maybe open their doors, and maybe we can see about trying to put something else in place in conjunction with the library. This is going to take more than words on social media. One of the things that I'm going to go, because I will be here all night. One of the things I can say about the ward that I live in, like I said, my neighbors know each other. The people on Claremont Park Boulevard know the people on Thornhurst or Christine, Maple Road. We look out for each other. If your grass needs to be cut, it gets cut. If children are walking through, I get calls all the time. an issue today where I got called and, hey, we don't want our names involved in this. Can you please take care of it? Absolutely. I tell the people in my ward all the time, if you don't want to call, please call me. I don't mind my name being on the police report. I have no problem with it. But what I'm saying to you all, my colleagues, what I'm saying to you as residents, what I'm saying to you as a community, we are in this together. Why don't we know our neighbors? Why aren't we talking to our neighbors? Maybe these children just need some direction or somebody to talk to them, or a no. Maybe if you knew your neighbors and talked to your neighbors, some of the issue might not happen. I'm saying we need to step out and talk to each other more and not just be on social media talking at each other about each other. So I'm asking as a community, forget everything else that I was gonna talk about today. I'm asking as a community, can we start coming together? If you don't do anything today, if you have not met your neighbors, right, left, across the street, I'm asking you to take time out to go knock on the door or say hi. And let's start there. You know, maybe they don't know, because their kids come home and they're saints. And they don't know their children are terrorists on the street. It can happen, you know? So what I'm saying to you is maybe if we learn how to communicate a little better and talk to each other a little nicer, maybe we can get more done. And with that, I close. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Collier, for your remarks. We'll move right along with Councilwoman Dr. Mack, Ward 2.
Hello, everyone. This week is National Police Week, and it's a time for us to honor the brave men and women who protect our communities. Sometimes we might not see them as much, or, you know, and you all may feel like they're not working, but they are. And this is that time, this is the week to honor our policemen and women in Garfield Heights and all over the, the nation. Their courage and their dedication and the sacrifices do not go unnoticed, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us know that. With that, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and a lot of these people have some mental health awareness issues that we need to address. So, it's time to break that silence. It's time to break the stigma. It is time to remind ourselves that it's okay not to be okay. And mental health is just not important as physical health. It's just as important. A lot of people think it's just physical health. No, mental health is very important as well. And being in the mental health field for almost 20 years now, it is very important. I would like to say that the Ward 2 Welcome Back meeting will be May 17th from 4 to 5 p.m. The lupus awareness walk that I have every year, it will be on May 24th at 1 p.m. We will be meeting at the Red Oak Shelter. And again, I hope everyone had a wonderful and amazing Mother's Day, because I know I did. But and again, please remember to bring your trash bins back, keep your grass cut, and that's all I have.
I want to thank Councilwoman Mack for her comments. At this time, we'll move over to Ward 3, Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for your attendance tonight. It's obvious that you are concerned about your city. I'm here to stress to everyone, in fact, let me digress a bit and just say that protocol has already been established as it relates to issue 14. Thank you to the mayor for thanking you, but I want to take this opportunity to personally thank each and every one of you for the passage of that issue. Realize it. This is very, very large. It's a huge move on this city. A perfect example is on Detroit and West 65th. I know 10 years ago, you would not walk down there in the evening. Because of what they put in and implemented, you're able to do that. Those are the kinds of things that are going to happen in this city. We just please allow us the patience, or please have the patience to make that happen. And one step that you've done is you push that issue through. And my hat is off to each and every one of you. Do not get distracted on all these other to-dos. Issue 14 is larger than that because it will address all of those issues that you all are concerned about. With that, I turn it over to our president.
Thank you, Councilman Smith, for your comments. Again, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Thompson out of Ward 5.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for coming, and thank you to those who are watching. I hear your concerns tonight, and I thank you for addressing them. With that, I want to wish our police department a happy National Police Week. I want to thank them for all they do for us in this community to keep us safe, and I pray for them for their safety. I do want to encourage our senior citizens to take a look at our senior center. They have a lot of services to offer and events that they go to. It's a great place to get information. So I'm just encouraging our senior citizens here to check it out. And the last thing is Marymount is having their produce drive, and that is May 28th. That is 12 to 2 p.m. That is a drive-through. Just bring ID and you enter off 126th Street. And with that, I wish you all a good night and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Thompson, for your remarks. At this time, chair recognizes Councilman Kelly out of Ward 6.
Good evening, everyone. What has already been stated, but I'll repeat the comment again. I do want to thank those who did vote and help us get issue 14 across the finish line. I'm looking forward to seeing what our city can be. We complain about the high taxes that we pay. We complain about that, but what are we bringing in to absorb the cost of what it is we're paying? Well, a lot of that can't even be recognized or even be achieved with the zoning that we had. So this issue had to go before the people. There are people who saw the real story and not what was being propagated, and they took the plunge of trying to, if this is really going to help us, absorb some of the costs of the taxes that we pay by allowing more commercial and industry to come into the city, then I'm willing to take that chance. I want to thank you for that. And also, again, it's already been stated, we had the comment before, but listen, I love our young people. I love our youth. And I think, and I just want to make sure that you understand, I'm not shouting you down because of the comment, that was presented. That's what's in your heart. That's what you believe. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I believe the same. But I also believe that the 7 of us, or the 8 of us, we can't do it by ourselves. And so I understand. See, no one was in the conversation that I had the first year that I was on council, and I had with the school principal. Oh, well, he's no longer here, so I can say it now. Well, I won't call his name, but I can still say no one was here when I talked to the principal over at Maple Leaf. And the Maple Leaf principal didn't want to talk to me because he knew that there was alleged incident of a female student being sexually assaulted, and he didn't want to deal with it. And so it was council who was making up stories. I'm like, yo, I got other things to do besides sit up here and lie. Are you serious? The point that I'm making is that was a school official that didn't want to do anything about it. He didn't even want to investigate it. Now he's gone. But the point is, we know we have a problem, and the summer is coming. So I understand. The summer is coming. And I'm gonna be standing outside like everybody else, watching the kids rip and run, yelling, screaming, do everything, up and down the street. I'm a parent. Now, my kids are grown, but it's not like I'm sitting here like, hey, my kids are gone. I don't care what these kids. No, I'm still a parent. I always will be. And I care about these kids. But at the same time, too, we can't do it alone by ourselves. And I'm asking the question, how many times have you nailed the school board down and the superintendent down? I'm gonna fall on that sword because I know the conversations I've had. And all I'm saying is, don't let me be yelling in the wind by myself. Take the same energy to them during the summer, during the school year. The same energy. Don't let me do this by myself because everybody tell you, I'll say whatever the heck is on my mind. And don't care what anybody feels about it. But I'm not the only one that's paying tax dollars to this city and then complaining about the tax dollars that we spend. But where are we spending our energy in our comments and our complaints? Yeah, let's come together. But the same energy that we bring to this basement, to these meetings, let's go down the street too and deal with them. I'm done.
All right, Councilman Kelly, we heard you loud and clear. Thank you, sir, for your comments. At this time, we'll go down here to the Great Ward Center.
I just want to say thank you to the police department again, National Police Week. I just wanted to recognize them. Our Ward 7 Block Watch will happen on May 29th at 7 p.m. in the St. Monica's Pavilion. We do have the library coming to speak. You know, we talk about getting to know your neighbors. It's a great chance for people to come out and meet other people in our ward. Everyone is welcome. It doesn't have to be Ward 7. So it's a great opportunity to come get to know people. I'd love to meet all of you guys, so come on out and see us. We are having our final parade meeting at 6 o'clock at the Civic Center on Wednesday, May 21st. All paperwork needs to be turned in for the parade before that meeting or at that meeting. For anyone that does not know, the Garfield Heights Memorial Day Parade will be held on Monday, May 26th. It will start out at 10 a.m. at Maple Leaf and go north to the Veterans Plaza, where they will have a short service to recognize our veterans. We ask that you please come out, line the streets, come to the ceremony, support our veterans, and come out as a community, meet your neighbors again. The last thing I want to say is, Weldon, thank you for coming out and speaking today. We need residents that are willing to come out and speak up and help us. You know, I've talked to you several times. I love the suggestions on different things that you come up with for the community. I know that you want to better the community, and I appreciate your help. So thank you very much. And to all the businesses that came out tonight, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. That's all I have.
I want to thank Councilwoman Roan for your comments. And last but not least, we'll deal with my ward and Ward 4. I am extremely grateful to Mr. Hastings for coming out tonight and sharing what he thinks that we can take up and do. I take it serious because, again, I've worked in the juvenile prison system for 25 years. And some of the things that I've seen up and down Turney Road says that these kids, some of them have some of the same attitudes as individuals that are locked up. And if we're not careful, this matter could blow up even bigger. But hopefully we will all put our minds together. As Mr. Hastings told me, are the kids smarter than us? And sometimes it makes you wonder. So we're going to do all that we can on our end. And I'll be mindful of it. And with that note in mind, I think we've held you long enough. At this particular time, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Councilman Smith.
I move that the city council meeting for Monday, May the 12th be adjourned at 8:17.
It's been a motion placed on the floor by Councilman Smith to adjourn the council meeting at this time. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been so moved and seconded by Councilwoman Collier. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. The yes have it. Council adjourned.
You were sitting there.